Hi, this is Bob from Hobby Concepts back here with my PL18 EV radio. I've got a couple of cool things that I've figured out how to do, and I want to show them to you today. So if you've got a PL18 EV radio, you're going to want to watch this video. The first one is how to connect two receivers at the same time. This is super useful if you've got a truck and a trailer and you want to duplicate features on the trailer like tail lights and brake lights. Maybe have landing legs you can want to work from the radio, that type of thing. So two receivers at the same time. They said it couldn't be done, but I'll show you how to do it, and it's not that hard. The second one is how to have the radio switch between two models with a flip of a switch. So this is fantastic if you say have a truck with a bulldozer and you want to be able to drive the bulldozer and the truck with the same radio without going through menus. Flip of the switch, you got the bulldozer, another flip you have the truck. It's perfect for, say, like a boat with a dinghy, that type of thing. Just a fantastic feature that I've not really seen on any other radio. And I'm going to show you how to set that up. These are great features. Like I said, this is a limited kind of a video. If you've got a PL18 EV, you're going to want to watch this. If you don't have one, I'll tell you what, this is an amazing radio. I still find new features every time I use it. I love this thing. So anyway, let's get started. So I've got a couple of cool little things to show off on the PL18 EV. Since I first reviewed it, they've made a few changes to the software, and I've got some great ways to set up multi-models. But first off, I just want to show a quick change, and that is if we go to the menu, we want to go to the model. We can actually go to model structure, and then we can change the picture, and that's something new, and that's something I asked Flysky about when I first got this radio and I was talking to him. So now they have multiple pictures. You've got a boat, a tank, a truck with a crane, and a piece of construction equipment. So you can easily just change the picture, and so now you can get a picture of a truck on your main screen, yay, or a boat. So that's just a cool little detail that they added. Now, what I want to show today are two things. First off is how to set up two receivers at the same time. Super handy when you've got a truck and a trailer. You can put a receiver in the truck and a receiver in the trailer to duplicate things like lights. And then if you have a trailer that, say, has a dump on it or something special, maybe landing legs you want to work, you can have a receiver in the trailer and a receiver in the truck that work at the same time from the same radio. It's a very cool feature, and I'm going to show you how to do it on this radio. So you can see here, I've got a receiver set up with a battery and a servo, and another receiver set up with a battery and a servo, and they both work at the same time. So I could have this in my trailer and this in my truck. So when I did things like, say, have steering, the turn signals in the truck would work, and then you could duplicate the turn signals in the trailer. You could also have things like, say, motorized landing legs on a separate switch. So I'm going to show you, it's a little bit tricky to bind two receivers at the same time, but I'm going to show you how to do it, and once you know how, it's very reliable to do that. So first off, let's go into the setup required on the radio. Alright, so I'm going to zoom in on my screen here. Hopefully you can see it. So we're going to go to the menu. We're going to go across to RF setup. Okay, then we go to RF type, FRM 301, and then RF standard. Now here's the trick. You switch it to AF HSD S3 one-way instead of two-way. Okay, this will take effect after binding and rebinding. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, what that does is that turns off the telemetry feature where the receiver is talking back to the radio. And when the receiver is talking back to the radio, you can't bind two at the same time. So you have to turn off the telemetry first before you can bind the receivers. And now we're going to go back to RF setup, or I'm sorry, back to RX setup, where we're going to bind the receivers, and I'm going to show you the trick to do that. Okay, so now we set that radio to the one-way. I've got a servo plugged in here so we know it's working. So we're going to hold the bind button down and plug this in and let go of the bind button. This will flash fast. We're going to touch bind with the receiver. Now it'll start flashing slow. Now the radio doesn't say bind complete, okay? But you don't have to worry about that. You can just unplug, or you can turn that back, unplug it, plug it in, and now you can see it's bound. Okay? We're going to do the same thing on our second receiver. We're going to plug in a servo. We're going to hold the bind button down, plug in a battery pack, let the bind button up. It's flashing quickly. We're going to click bind. It'll flash slow. Okay, we'll unplug it, plug it in, and it's now bound. And the first one is bound. Okay, so that's all there is to it. You can do this with any of the receivers, including the 12 channel. So that's pretty cool, because if you wanted to use, say, 10 channels on your truck and 2 more channels on your trailer, you'd have them. As far as I know, you can't do it when you chain receivers together. So right now, the most you're going to get is 12 channels. But hey, for trucks, that's going to do just about everything you need. And or maybe if you had a boat with a dinghy and you wanted them to run at the same time. But there's also another way to do that. And that is to have a one button to flip between models. So the cool thing there is you could have a complete setup with as many channels as you wanted, up to 18 on one unit, press a button, flip over to the other unit. So perfect for, say, like a boat and a dinghy, or maybe a truck and a bulldozer where you wanted to drive the bulldozer after unloading from the truck, but you don't want to have to go through all the model setup. So now I'm going to show you how to do that. So here's the operation of the second way you can set this up, and that's switchable between 2 models. So this is great. Let's say we have our bulldozer and our truck, but we want to be able to use the same transmitter and just switch back and forth quickly between the two. So you can see here that I'm operating one model with this stick. Now I flip a switch, and now I'm operating the other model, not the first one. Flip a switch, goes back. How cool is that? You can flip between models literally with the flip of a switch. And it's perfect for, like I said, a boat with a dinghy, or a truck with a load, like a bulldozer or a car on it. So you can operate them both from the same transmitter. Really neat, very easy to set up. I'm going to show you how. So this is really very easy to set up. You can use any switch or any button to switch back and forth between the models. So all you do is you start with, you have to, of course, have your models already done in the radio. So you've got to have the receiver bound and the model all set up, just kind of the normal way you would do it. So I'm here on Tugboat, which is one of the models I've got set up. So I go to the menu, I go to Models, and then I go down here where it says Model Combination. Press that. Now right now I'm the Tugboat, but let's say I want to switch between the Tugboat and the bulldozer. I can combine it, and I can figure out what switch. Right now the switch is turned off, so I want to use switch F, which is this switch back here. Okay, go back to the menu, and now you will see it says bulldozer. I flip the switch, it says Tugboat, bulldozer, Tugboat. It's as simple as that. So you want to have your truck with your dozer, or your boat with your dinghy. You can flip back and forth between them, just as simple as that. And you saw how nicely that worked with the receivers. There's about a 2-second lag, almost no lag, to flip back and forth between them. Just a fantastic feature of this radio. So there you have it. A couple of quick little ways to set up various models with this. The first one, we showed how to bind 2 receivers at the same time. Very useful for combos. And on the second part, how to switch between 2 models with the flip of a switch. Super handy for trucks hauling loads or boats with dinghies. Just such a versatile radio. There's so many features. I'm still discovering features as I go, by the way. So, you know, if you've got a question, post it in the video here, and I'll try to do a future video on it. But so far, I haven't found anything I can't do with this radio. So that's pretty neat. Anyway, I know this video has a limited application. It's really applicable to people who have the PL18 EV radio. But if you've got one, and you're a surface vehicle person with dozers, boats, trucks, that kind of thing, oh my gosh, what a fantastic radio. I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. I really appreciate it if you subscribe. There's a PL18 EV Facebook group. I'll try and link to that in the description, as well as, you know, continue to check out hobbyconcepts.net, my site for Tamiya products. A lot of people have been asking me, am I going to sell this radio? Possible in the future. Right now, though, I don't, but I'll put links on where you can purchase it in this video. So there you go. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.